Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power Pause podcast. I'm your host, Rabbia Moeed. Tonight, I have an incredible lady who is making a lot of impact in society, and her name is Michelle Jacob, somebody who is a founder of Rewiring Minds. And I can't wait to talk about more stuff that she has done, let alone she has written a book called You Are Enough. Let's go meet our guest. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Rabbia.
So, how is it feeling like being here tonight?
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like I was saying, we had this whole chat, right?
Yes, I think we've already done our own podcast, right?
I wish I just recorded it.
I know. No, honestly, so good to have you here. Such a pleasure, having such a beautiful soul like you being part of this podcast. Tell us about yourself.
So about myself, we were talking about how I actually was born in India, and I was in India till 6th grade. So a lot of my programming that I had to work on was from my childhood in India. So after 6th grade, my parents went to Dubai. So there was another transition in my life, and you will see in the book, I talk about all of these. And then I came to Canada, and in Canada is when I did my undergrad at U of T. I did it in integrative biology because I loved psychology, I loved biology, couldn't decide, took them both. And then I went on to do my master's in occupational therapy and went on a journey, a healing journey, which I can share later, but it was my healing journey that led me to what I do today as the founder of Rewiring Minds, creating this technique called the quantum inner healing technique that helps leaders, women and men, come out of that unworthiness state that we all get stuck in, not feeling enough and walk in our power. So that's a little bit of what I do.
Wow, so impressive. I can't wait to hear all about it, but so what do you call yourself a title? What would that be? Is that a therapist? Are you a healer?
So this is an interesting one because in my book, there is a chapter called identity. So in the identity chapter, as I was writing it, and at the time I was a therapist, I was an occupational therapist, and I was writing this chapter, and I decided to go on a social experiment because as I'm writing it, I realized, you know what, a lot of my worth is coming from my title as a therapist. So I decided I was going to let go of this title. And I remember this incident. I was talking to a mom. I took my son for piano classes, and there was a mom there. And for the first time, I decided not to use my title. So the mom's like, "Hey, what do you do?" And I go, "Oh, I'm a writer." And the mom's like, "Oh, I'm a teacher." And that's when I noticed my ego going, "You should tell her. You should tell her you're a therapist." And I realized how long I've allowed my ego to run the show and how my identity, my worth is tied to being a therapist. So I went on a social experiment. It was supposed to be only for a year. I resigned my title as a therapist. But that year, it's been almost 12 years now. It's been quite a long time, or maybe less than 12 years, but it's been a while. I haven't gotten my title back. So even now, what I truly tell people when they ask, who is Michelle? I'm so connected to who I am in my core. I am love. I am peace. I do connect with being a healer, and I'm a creator. I'm here to empower, inspire. I'm here to walk with people along with them on their journey of healing because I went through it first. So I don't really have a title, but I do connect with being a healer quite a bit.
This is very impressive. Like, honestly, how you explain yourself. And I think you're not stuck with the identity crisis.
No, I don't have one.
More. Yes, you don't need to. Exactly.
Yeah, not the human title, right?
Michelle, what inspired you to be who you are today, and what part of your life took you there towards your journey?
I have to thank my son for that. It was actually his birth that led me to this journey. When he was born, to me, it was checking off things on my list as we were talking about, because I, in my 20s, had basic list of things I wanted to achieve to be happy, or at least I thought that is what I needed to achieve. And it was very simple. I thought, okay, if I own a house, if I get married, if I have a baby, get a career in healthcare, have my own car, life's set. And I'll be happy. And it was when
we were talking about, sorry, I'm not interrupting you. We were talking about this checklist you need to have in life, have education and partner and financial stability, and then that's it. all these boxes are checked off, and then that's it. Nothing else is required.
Right?
What do you think on this one?
Oh my gosh, that was me. And the reality was I did check off all those boxes. And the last box was actually checked off in 2013 when the nurse placed this beautiful baby into my arms. But the reality was, you would think you got it all and you're going to be so happy and fulfilled. It's the happily ever after. But that was not the case. When the nurse placed that baby into my arms, I felt so much joy. But then I heard these loud voices in my head going, you should be ashamed of yourself. And the reason was, I thought this baby was going to rescue my marriage. I was in a toxic marriage. So my checklist was all there, but I wasn't truly happy. In fact, my first 3 months after having him was just sadness and anger towards myself until, again, we shared this already. We should have done the podcast.
Yes, I know. We should have done that before.
I know. But it was when he was 3 months old and I was nursing him and he just looks at me and he gives me that cute, toothless smile.
Adorable.
And in that moment, I know, it was so cute, but so powerful because it stirred something in my soul. And in that moment, I looked at my son and I said, you know what, I'm going to be the best mom I can be for you. I'm going to snap out of this victimhood and I'm going to walk victoriously and you get to see that. And you will inherit a lot of things from me. But my childhood trauma, my wounds, my generational trauma will not be part of the inheritance. And that was the beginning of my healing.
Wow, kudos to you and more power to you for doing what you are doing today. This is honestly amazing. When you talked about, I know you mentioned about, I talked about it too, quantum theory. What is quantum theory and how is that different from the traditional healing methods?
So quantum inner healing technique was based on quantum theory. And quantum, the reason I call it quantum is because it's so super fast in its healing. So in traditional therapy, in talk therapy, where we take years to get to the root of the issue, and sometimes we don't even get to the root of the issue. Majority of the therapy is about how do I manage that anxiety? How do I manage the depression, the PTSD, right? Whereas in quantum inner healing technique, what's different about it is we get right to the core.
Okay.
So what is the core wound that is causing this anxiety? Because the way I like to explain is, our anxiety, our depression, our restlessness or our overwhelm, burnout, even our health issues. So think of chronic pain, think of chronic illness, including cancer. It's a sign there is something in our subconscious mind, which is what runs the show. 95% of how our life turns out, the way we think, our belief system, it's all in our subconscious mind.
Yes.
It's only 5% under conscious control. So in mainstream therapy, it works on the conscious mind, the 5%. Mindset coaching, the 5%. But what I decided, it was more for me initially, where I tried therapy, I tried coaching, and nothing was really helping me. And that's when I told you about the spiritual journey I went on, and for the first time I saw there was an inner child within me. And the way I got to heal her, I realized I need to share this with people. They need to know how to heal this core wound. So not only are people just managing, now you get to embody being enough, being worthy, being the peace, being the love.
So when you say this quantum technique, when somebody take that technique or you help them with it, does the person come out as like brand new?
It's interesting because that does happen.
Oh, wow.
That does happen. And the reason I'm telling you this is I'm just going to share a story about how I recently saw where one of the husbands came to the technique. And usually husbands come because the wife's forcing them to come and do it. And this particular person had done all of the therapies out there. And the wife was like, I can't take it, Michelle, you have to see him. So I ended up seeing this person. And within the one session, that evening, the wife messaged me and she goes, I don't know what you did, but he has invited his mom, dad. He never hugged his mom, never hugged his dad, invited them for dinner, gave them hugs, and was in this loving state. At first, the wife thought this was all fake.
Oh, wow.
Because she didn't know he had truly, genuinely transformed. So that was something that happened recently that I could think of. But yeah,
That is
some
incredible.
people see the results within the first session. But depending on the trauma level, I tell people you need at least 4 sessions, 4 to 6 sessions, but that's all you need. 4 to 6 sessions, and you are walking in your power after that. You are walking without the shame, the guilt.
So, like, this is something I always tell people too, and I'm gonna ask you this question too. When do you think it's very important that a person should go and get help, therapy, or whatever the things they need to heal? Because there are some people who takes it all in and they keep taking it in. And there comes a point where they're bothering their relationships, their workplaces, and everything is getting very toxic.
Yeah.
What do you say to that person? What's the first step that person should be taking towards help? Because I know it's hard to be accepting this whole thing and this whole idea. Because first, I think it's a very taboo topic. Second, I believe that people are always shaming. Oh my God, you have problems, you have some mental issues, or you need, they're not really helping.
Yeah.
So what's the first step a person should be taking?
So the way I see it, the first thing is changing the story around it, right? Because society has programmed, and especially if we're from South Asia, there's this whole taboo with the mental health component.
Yes.
And so that's why it's so important we need to change the story around it. And it's something where people need to realize we are mind, body, and spirit. And so gym is a big thing. Everybody's comfortable saying, I'm going to the gym.
Yes.
So now we just need to get comfortable saying, I am going to a mind gym, right? I'm going to go see a therapist or whoever, a healer or something for my mind, and then not forget the spirit. We also need to go and take care of our spirit, however that looks like for each person. But yeah, just changing that story that I have a mind and I need to clean it out once in a while. Or else it's like that closet that's full of clothes, cluttered. You imagine just going to someone and decluttering that closet and arranging it nicely. How much more peaceful will you feel inside?
Definitely, yeah. That would be amazing. And I feel like, have you had people who were like pushed to come see you? Yeah,
that person I just talked about. He was pushed to come see me, and initially he didn't think it would work. He was angry at me, in fact.
Yeah,
I was like, let's just get started, because it is very different from talk therapy. It is very different from CBT and the other therapies I used to do back in my days as an OT. It's very different. It's actually showing people their own power that lies, because when we are going for coaching or when we are going for therapy, we are expecting the therapist to give us the solution.
Yes.
And one other thing that's
usually therapists do, because I come from a psychology background, so I can vouch for that. They do have techniques. They do have things that can help. Yeah. But I don't know how much of the core issue they can get into.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm not sure about. I mean, I don't practice it no more, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm a total different person. So, but I would still say that I don't know how much you think the therapy is different from healing, because I know you talked about the whole theory, but which would you say would be, without taking a favoritism, obviously, would be best to go about?
So, of course, I am biased.
Yeah.
And I'm biased because of my journey where I did go to talk therapy and it didn't
but
really
you were
help
also
me.
Occupational therapist.
Exactly. So I had learned all these tools that helped me. So I am certified on heart math, which is wonderful, by the way. So tapping, which is integrated into the quantum inner healing technique, right? Individually, these tools are amazing. So if someone cannot come and see me, because right now quantum inner healing technique is done by Rewiring Minds only, right? To me, I say whatever is a starting point for you to start taking care of your mind, if that is going and seeing a therapist, and if you have insurance, you should use it.
Definitely, yes.
Because I'm not covered under insurance. So use it, but that's the foundation. It's just overcoming that barrier of, I don't want to go talk to anyone. I don't want to say that there is something wrong with me, or at least that's a story you're saying. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just you need support.
I'll tell you, it's not the person saying there's something is wrong with them or not. It's also the family and the friends and everybody saying, oh no, this person's perfectly fine. And you can see there are a lot of behavioral problems and issues, a lot of disorders. They're right there hear, like, seen. But it's just like everybody is like, no, everything is fine. Don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I said, especially in the South Asian culture.
Yeah,
it's very culturally, unfortunately, is what it is. And I tell people, like, if you need help, go for it. Ask for it. Make yourself better. Make your life better. Why suffer through it?
Exactly. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
Because the South Asian culture, there's a big taboo around
It's a biggest taboo.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen so many people, first-time basis, like, they are not going, or they're embarrassed to go, they're ashamed to go because they can't.
Exactly.
Because they feel like they're going to be called ill or whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about your book. Obviously, you are the writer of that book. Do you want to hold on?
Of course.
Yeah, we can grab that.
There we go.
You Are Enough. How did that come into be?
So You Are Enough, it was me putting out there, literally, so I will use the word God, but people can use universe, whatever resonates with them. But there was a time in my life where all these tools that I was managing my anxiety with wasn't really working. And I literally put out there, God, I don't know what I'm missing pieces in my life. Why am I still feeling stuck? And it was as though, when you put something out to the universe, it does hear, it does answer your question. So there was a day when my son was with my parents and my partner at the time wasn't at home. And I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to write a guided journal for the clients I'm seeing at the clinic. Bring in some biohacking tools that I'm using. Why not? But then something happened. So I have my computer, I popped it open, and I'm creating this journal. All of a sudden, I feel this download. And until today, I can't explain it to people, but all I felt was I have to open this new Microsoft Word document. Mm-hmm. And I do that. And I start typing away. And what I typed was this.
Wow.
The title to the book, You Are Enough, a transformational journey into finding your inner happiness and peace. And I continued typing. And that day, I got the entire transformation journey I needed to go on. It was a roadmap to my freedom, literally feeling free on the inside, not chasing the happiness, not chasing the peace. And it was acronymed Miracle. Wow. And and I can go on about the miracle.
I was just glancing through this, and honestly speaking, like, I'm so, I can't wait to read it all. I can't wait to, if there's anything that I need to write it down or, go through the whole thing, I can't wait to try it. So this book, where is it available? Is it available in chapters?
So it is available chapters online.
Okay,
it
guys,
is available Amazon, online.
Perfect.
Amazon, So
it's easily available. You can purchase it through chapters or Amazon. That's incredible. And let's go over the other book that you have written.
Yes, the story of Fire, Ice, and Fear Ice.
Yes, what is this about?
So this is also very personal. So this came from a place of, by the time this book was released, after a few months, the quantum inner healing technique was developed, and I was seeing people for childhood wounds, healing from their past traumas, childhood wounds. And when my family was going through a divorce, I didn't want my son at the time to go through or experience childhood wounds through the divorce, because I had seen all these adults whose parents had divorced, and they believed that, oh, my parents separated because it was my fault. Mm-hmm. And it's not on a conscious awareness or a conscious level at all. It was deep-rooted. It was in the subconscious. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to make sure my son did not have this as part of his programming. And also, I wanted him to have a place where he felt it was safe to talk about how he's feeling. Mm-hmm. So the day before I left the home, I wanted to read something to him to explain everything. And I took a paper at the time, just like a bunch of paper. I colored, I created this whole story that day, and I read it to him, and that became where I went to every time to program him. And I saw after 1 year how my son, he didn't take on any of these wounds. He knew in the core that, you know what, mom and dad, they had their own problems, and this has nothing to do with
the child,
and I saw how confident he was. Nobody thought he was from a divorced home because his confidence was great. He adapted really well. So when I saw that, I realized, you know what, there are a lot of parents who are not really healed, parents who don't understand childhood trauma, and they need a resource. And there are parents who are heart-centered, and they want to have this kind of content for their children. So I ended up publishing it for children. It's basically explaining what happened to the parents, The story is about fire and ice, how they meet, they fall in love. And then they have a child called Firais. And Fire's glow is so bright. That's her strength. She glows so bright. She starts melting ice. And Ice's strength is he's very strong. So his melted waters is super strong that it starts putting Fire's glow. So they both start shrinking. And if they stayed together for too long, they would both shrink away. And they had to come and say that to their son, Firais, that they can't be in the same house together anymore because they will really shrink down. And how they're expanding and they're going to have two homes. And then the book goes on to capture Firais' fears. So Firais starts to wonder at night, are we still going to be a family? Should I choose one parent over the other? Because these are all fears I realize working with adults and their inner child that I realize children have. They probably are not conversing with the parents about it. So I wanted that as a resource. So the last part of this book is resource for the parents to have these conversations and the words they can use to share with the children on, hey, what's going on? Or they don't even have to share, right? They're reading the story of Firais and the children can say, okay, I kind of feel that way too. So that's the intention behind this book, giving parents and children the resource so they can come out of the divorce with less stress, less trauma.
Incredible. Honestly, this is very inspiring. Once again, I've been saying this to you. You are an inspiring person. So Michelle, you talk about the subconscious mind a lot. Why is it so important for us to heal from the subconscious programming?
It's because a lot of people don't realize 95% of how our life turns out is actually controlled by the subconscious mind. It's only 5% that's under conscious awareness. So by the age of 7, all of us are programmed. We are programmed by our parents, by society, by our teachers. And this child, as children, while we are being programmed, we're very egocentric. So we start to take on this belief deep down that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not beautiful enough, we're not doing enough. And then, I can't fail. We should be afraid of how people are judging us. So all those fears that we take on, fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, all this is in our subconscious right now. And we're not even aware. So when we are walking around and we are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so burnt out, I overgive, and then I'm getting so irritated at my partner, I'm attracting the wrong partners, or I'm getting, I feel like I'm a perfectionist, and what are the other things? Like A-type personalities, there's a list of different symptoms that we get to see. But all of that is actually the subconscious controlling. So the way someone gets triggered, the way you even think about the world, to see the world, see yourself, it's all in the subconscious. So willpower is what is in the conscious, right? So the way I explain to people is think of yourself on a little boat. And you're rowing down this beautiful ocean or a sea. And the currents are pushing you this way. And you're going, no, I'm going to use the power of my will and I'm going to row the opposite direction. What tends to happen? Yeah, you will meet your goal with willpower.
Or you get tired out.
Yeah, and then you're burnt out.
Yeah,
or your body says, here, let me give you cancer or let me give you an autoimmune condition so you can pause because this is not in alignment. So then in subconscious, instead of working just on the conscious, if you also transformed your subconscious, what you're doing is you're changing the currents to flow in the direction of your dream, in the direction of your future self.
Okay.
And then your life becomes easy. So instead of thinking life is hard work, I have to work hard to live this life because otherwise I don't deserve it. Again, that's coming from that core wound of unworthiness. So if we just stepped into this, or a subconscious, again, it's hard for us to step into it until we reprogram our subconscious. But if you reprogram it into life is easy, life flows, things are happening for me, not against me, not to me, for me, and we start rewiring that, you suddenly start to see life is easy. You're just rowing nice and smooth. The currents are taking you. You can stop all this hard work and enjoy life.
So you were technically working with subconscious to cure a person.
Yes.
And how do you go in someone's subconscious and do that? That's very difficult.
So I do have a few of the modalities that I use. So one of the modalities that I love using is the modality of tapping. Talk therapy, just talk therapy alone, let's say you go and talk to someone, you will decrease your cortisol levels, and you decrease them by 14%. Whereas using the modality of tapping, you decrease that cortisol levels that have accumulated in your body due to stress from somewhere between 23 to 42%. That alone there is so huge. So you're using this tapping, you can do it at home, just tap, you're decreasing cortisol level. But what tapping also does is it sends signals to the brain, the part of the brain called the amygdala.
Okay.
And it tells the brain, or that part of the amygdala, you are safe now. Mm-hmm. When the amygdala feels safe, when the conscious feels safe, some of the memories that are stuck in the subconscious start to come into awareness for you to process. That's why in everyday life too, when all things are going really well, all of a sudden people are like, I don't know why this memory just came up. And it's because your brain or your conscious felt safe, or the subconscious felt safe enough to actually bring this memory to awareness.
Wow, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So tapping technique, you were saying.
Tapping is how we start the journey.
Okay.
And then we will want to make sure, because that's how we want to make sure the mind knows you're safe.
Okay.
And then it brings up something from the subconscious. Mm-hmm. And that's when we go deeper into the inner child. Inner child is part of the subconscious. Inner child will show us where we are stuck. So in the quantum inner healing journey, we actually are not journeying and just meeting the inner child and saying hi and reparenting her. We're going deeper. Mm-hmm. We are bringing the parents into the picture, or whoever hurt this little child. And there's a whole forgiveness journey that happens here. Wow. Okay. And then we take this little girl or boy through a journey of receiving everything she ever wanted. And you're watching this little girl now grow into her adult self. And as you're doing this, as the observer of it, this is where the whole quantum physics comes in. As she is growing and you're observing her grow into this beautiful, worthy, confident woman, you're shifting inside, because your brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not real. Mm-hmm. So the moment you're seeing this experience, you literally have transformed the memory. So we're taking the memory out, we're transforming this memory, and we're putting it back into the mind, right? Technically, kind of like a little brain surgery, but without the surgery.
But it's just the outer surgery, not the inner surgery.
Right, exactly.
This is very helpful. No, honestly, this is, thank you for giving me the insight of how you're doing this. And I'm sure it's working.
It's wonderful.
Do you do these techniques as a group as well? Like, do you do that too? Or do you do it just individually?
So it was done individually.
Okay.
Quantum was completely individual until recently I've been called to do it in groups. So I experimented and I tried it in a group setting.
How did that go?
It worked so well that the next phase for Rewiring Minds is going to be mass healing.
Oh,
and
wow,
mass
that's amazing.
group,
We got to plan one together.
Yes, we do. We do.
Definitely got to plan
It's going to be
together.
amazing.
So, social media channels, you've been to TV, CTV Breakfast, you've been there.
I've been CTV Your Morning quite a bit.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did that whole, exposure help you pass your message or mission to the audience and the people that you wanted to reach out to? How has that been for you?
So the reason I even got there is because E in Miracle stands for extinguish the pain and move into your purpose. And as I was writing that chapter, I got another download. And the download was 200.
I love your downloads.
I know. Oh my gosh, I could share so many stories with the download.
Amazing. That's amazing.
We'll have to do another podcast.
You're a true writer, I'm telling you. Like when you say this download, it's like something is coming to you, and because you have the mind of a writer. Oh. That's first thing I would say. That's really? I can notice in you. I didn't even see
myself an author ever. Because as a child, English was one of my weakest subjects.
To be honest with you, you don't need to be pro at the language to be a writer.
That's true.
It's all your mind that's writing, not your hands or your words. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is so true. Yeah. So I couldn't even relate to being an author initially because I never thought that way of myself. But yeah, no, repeat your question because I forgot as we were chatting.
We are getting carried on. I was talking about the CDV that you went to the breakfast and the whole exposure. How did that help you and how did you get there?
So yeah, like I was saying, part of this journey started with completing the book. The last chapter of the book, it was extinguish the pain and move into your purpose. And I got a download while finishing that chapter and it said 200 million lives impacted and healed. And that's when, at first, there's a whole journey where I laughed and I said, God, you chose the wrong person for this job. And I put away the writing and I thought, yeah, it's not for me. This is not my calling because who am I to impact lives? And I ended up seeing a vision. And in the vision, there was this huge boulder. And there was this little girl hiding behind the boulder. And as I'm seeing this vision, so I'm meditating and I'm seeing this in meditation, I saw this little girl trembling. And I'm like, what is going on? Why is this little girl trembling and hiding behind a boulder? And I see this giant beast. And if this little girl comes out of her hiding place, this beast will devour her. But then I see something else. I saw this divine being, and it was just pure love. It comes around, takes the little girl's hand, brings her out of the hiding place, and gives her a sword. And says to her, only you can defeat the beast. And I will be right by your side. And the little girl goes, God, I don't know how to fight. And God says, I got you. So the little girl takes the sword and she comes to the beast. And as she's holding the sword, I realize I'm there with her. That was my first encounter with my inner child, with the little girl within me. And I'm holding the sword with her and I raise the sword. And that's when I saw who this beast truly is that this little girl was afraid of. And it showed me where my blocks were. I didn't want to be seen. I wanted to be hidden. And it was because this beast was all my fears. I saw the fear of rejection, the fear of abandonment, the fear that I wasn't good enough, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment. And that day, when I saw what was happening and how long this little girl was hiding, thinking she was unworthy to be seen, in this vision, I took that sword and I literally pierced the heart of the beast and I said, no more. No more is my past going to dictate my future. No more am I going to live hiding. No more. I am going to actually, instead of camouflaging with my surroundings, I'm going to be okay being seen, being heard, because I am worthy of it. And I'm here with a purpose. So part of the CTV, the way it happened too was very divine. I just knew, okay, how can I impact a larger audience? And somehow Spirit led me there. And as part of the journey, it was as though I was fulfilling that purpose that I had seen. And I mean, still, it's not 200 million audience, but it's getting there, right? And another thing that I really loved about the appearances was when people messaged and said how they resonated with the message. And that's when I realized, you know what, this work is needed. People need to hear how you don't have to stay in the stuck state.
Yep. People need to learn from your experiences.
Yeah.
And, sometimes you're an example for a lot to see and then heal, in fact. That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly, right? And I feel like when we all walk in our healing, it gives hope to others that, you know what, okay, if she can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
And that's a huge part of what I do. Like when I do videos and stuff, there are videos that I come with makeup, videos where I don't come with makeup, and I look like crap. And sometimes I make all these errors, even in my writing. But I leave it there on purpose. And because I've realized I used to be a perfectionist. And I realized if I can show people my imperfect side, this will actually give someone else who has been thinking that I need to walk perfectly and do things perfectly to actually follow my heart and do what I'm being called to do in life.
Yeah.
It gives somebody else permission. No, you don't have to. You can be so flawed, But if this is your calling, step into it. Step into your purpose.
So you are in Power Pause, of course, podcast. What was that one moment where you decided to take a pause? Or how often do you take pauses?
Oh my gosh. So can I give you an analogy?
Yes.
The way I see pauses?
Yes.
Think of a bow and arrow. That's how I see pauses. Pauses to me is for the arrow to fly really far, what do you need to do? You have to pull it backwards quite a bit and let go. If you just pull it a little bit, the arrow falls flat. That's how I see pauses in my life now. The more pause I take, I know after that I can repel quite a bit and move forward. And it was counterintuitive because society taught me that I can't pause. I'm lazy if I pause. I'm lazy if I rest. That was my programming. So it was a lot of subconscious reprogramming for me to go, I need to pause. And now what I do is everyday pauses for me is naps. I teach manifestation, and one of the things I tell people is when you're hustling or when you're chasing something, you cannot manifest. When you're tired, you cannot manifest. You need to just get over the fear of missing out sometimes, because people are like, no, I can't take that nap. And just go take that 30-minute nap. Set your intention, meditate while you're napping.
So pause can be taken, according to pause, can be taken anytime.
Anytime.
And as much as you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now I'm
That's a good analogy.
Yeah,
yes, definitely.
You have to because people are afraid if I pause, I'm missing out. But think of the bow and the arrow. Think of yourself as you're just moving backwards a little.
Yeah.
So you can propel faster forwards. And for some people, when you don't do this, I've seen over and over again, when you don't pause, your body will have symptoms telling you to pause. So that's when we get a cold or an ailment or a chronic illness, right? That's body showing us, nope, you need to stop. You need to start to come back in alignment.
Wow, that's good. So Michelle, we do this rapid fire round in our podcast. I'm going to ask you some questions, just need a word answer.
Okay.
What's one word that describes you today?
Love.
Okay. A healing habit you swear by?
Meditation.
A phrase you tell yourself when doubt creeps in?
I am enough and God's got my back. It's 2 phrases.
A belief you're currently shedding?
A belief I'm currently shedding. It would be the worry, let go of the worry, God's got my back. A belief I'm currently shedding. I'm shedding this belief. Maybe I'm not enough. At times it creeps in. Okay, let's go with that.
Okay, the bravest thing you have ever done?
The bravest, actually stepping into this work, resigning my title, letting go of my job. That was very hard for me to do.
If your inner child had a superpower, what would it be?
I think I already have that superpower, healing others.
Amazing. Okay, a message from your future self in 3 words.
You are enough.
Incredible. Thank you. Michelle, thank you for being here today. I've learned so much from you, and honestly speaking, can't wait to use that quantum technique on myself as well. I should come and see you.
Yes, I can't
It's a
wait.
pleasure of having you here. You are an inspiring woman. Keep doing what you're doing. Please do share with the audience your Instagram page or your website to reach you at, so it's easier for them to get to know you or get to connect with you.
Amazing. So everyone can actually reach me at Rewiring Minds. So that's www.rewiringminds.com. And there is something for free available for everybody. It's a 21-day transformation journey. If you want to download it, it's for you as a gift from me. And you can follow me on Instagram. Come say hi. My handle is rewiring_minds.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you in the next one.